guys. So I've been testing some reclaimed hardware from a recycling bin, and one of the items that I got was this Juniper network appliance. It's 64-bit AMD 64 architecture and has a dual core Core 2 Intel CPU. Now it is pretty old, but it does run CentOS 5 and the custom Juniper software on top of that. And it has 2 hard drives and a USB port and 2 Ethernet connections, and of course the serial console cable that I have connected to my desktop machine, which is just the USB to serial cable that I also use for configuring my Cisco switch, which is back there somewhere. And things that I've tried so far is to try and boot this thing into single user mode in CentOS and try and bypass the login process by booting in a single user mode. But that hasn't worked. Now, I can take these drives out anytime I wanted to, right, by unscrewing them and connect them to USB to SATA bridges and access the files that way. You know, I have done that already, and I've made backups of the file system contents as best as possible by mounting the base necessary file systems by connecting both of these drives to USB to SATA bridges. But I thought I'd try and see if this thing would boot a brand new or new Linux live CD instead of trying to build a chroot and manipulate the drives from a chroot environment, which I have done before for remote systems. Now, the things that I've tried to do is to make a live CD using Debian net install, and I've also tried Fedora net install. I've tried Ubuntu server and several Gentoo Linux minimal live CDs. And the Gentoo Linux has been the most successful so far. But the thing that is common amongst these live CDs is they aren't configured to boot from and display initially over the serial console cable. Because as you can definitely see, this thing has no graphics card. It's just pure console cable connection to interface with. I haven't tried taking the lid off and see if it's got a slot for a graphics card that you could add, but that's kind of a last ditch attempt to add a graphics card to it. You know, I could take a drive out too and remotely install it from another machine and go that route. And just install grub on a drive with a brand new Gentoo Linux installation. But definitely trying a live CD and trying to have a live CD available was an advantageous possibility and a plan that I'm interested in completing regardless. And so far what I've managed to try and do is to find a couple tutorials on the Gentoo Linux forums and also modify one of the Gentoo Linux CDs by flashing it to USB stick with Rufus, and then add the kernel parameters for a serial console connection. But that didn't seem to work either. So I'm going a little deeper. We all go deeper. So this is the boot console from the Juniper, which on the last boot attempt you can see, you know, boots successfully. And it's an E4300 Core 2 Duo processor. So it boots from its own OS. And it does seem to cold boot from a flash drive immediately upon inserting a flash drive. So that was kind of a pre-configured option perhaps. But I need to edit this kernel parameter and add in an option to boot it in single user mode and connect this drive to a USB-C to bridge or the live CD. So yeah, folks, how do you make a live CD that will boot from a serial console? Cheers.